So, listen, I hate to say it, but I told you so. Lonnie Kavanagh shut down and put on a clinic against Brandon Moreno last night, and I knew it was going to happen. A passing of the torch, out with the old, in with the new, and Lonnie Kavanagh is going to be champion. But before we get into the full card breakdown, boys, the channel is absolutely popping up at the moment. The road to 5k has been done. Hit that subscribe button, but enough of that shit. Let's get into it. So, listen, I'm never going to be the I told you so kind of guy. It's just not my style. But I got this fight like 90% right. I saw Lonnie Kavanagh from when he was an amateur, and I've seen how much better he got. And Brandon Moreno has been slowing down the last while. You know what I mean? He had a good win against Arena CDMX, but apart from that, he lost to Royval. A lot of people underestimated the fact that Moreno was also coming off a loss in this matchup. It wasn't just Lonnie Kavanagh who had just lost his last fight, okay? And apparently losing to Charles Johnson is just like the last piece of the Infinity Stone to becoming like an all-time great bantamweight and just putting on banger fights. But all in all, I was very surprised with Lonnie chopping at the leg early on. Now, I thought this was the best thing that he could have done. There were moments where I felt like, I think it was the second round, Lonnie had him like really hurt. And I felt like he could have proper poured the gas on and potentially could have got a finish. But I think that was a massive moment for him, because in the Charles Johnson fight, we kind of seen him do all the flashy shit. He was doing kind of extra stuff because he was cruising in that fight. He was cruising. He was well on top. He was well in control. But he was just kind of putting that extra 10% on shots that just didn't need to do it. And I thought that was a real character building moment to where it was like, okay, I've learned here. I've learned from my mistakes. I'm learning not to completely gas out in a fight. The Charles Johnson KO could have been the best thing that ever happened to. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe if he beat Charles Johnson, went in there against Brandon Moreno, he would have poured it on him in that kind of exchange there, and he would have got finished. I felt like Moreno was kind of, I didn't really like Moreno holding him against the cage in the fourth and the fifth, especially the fifth. I gave Moreno probably round 5. I wouldn't even, maybe round 4 or round 5, but the first 3 rounds I kind of gave to Lonnie Kavanagh. You couldn't even give him the 5th. You couldn't even give him the 5th. Based on damage. You couldn't give him the 5th. I'm glad the judges know what they're scoring now, which is damage. Okay, it was in Mexico. I was a little bit worried because I had no money on Lonnie Kavanagh, but I just wanted to get this prediction so right, because the amount of people that were kind of clowning me and stuff like that all along, there was just something about Lonnie Kavanagh from when he was an amateur, from when the speed of flyweight, when I was kind of like watching a lot of these guys coming up, Lewis McGrillen was kind of like the man. Lewis McGrillen had the power of flyweight. He was kind of like the prospect for the British MMA scene. Now, I'm not from England, so I don't care. But Lewis McGrillen was kind of forced down our throat. Lonnie Kavanagh slowly crept up the ranks. He never got to like a flyweight title. He would have absolutely smoked whoever was there now. He kind of went the contender series route, picked up some nice wins against Silva and stuff like that. Kind of slipped up against Charles Johnson and then came back. But Brandon Moreno, man, if you look at it, Moreno's been slowing down a while. He beat Kai France and Figueiredo, but apart from that, Amir Albazi, not really anybody else at all. The last couple of years, he's kind of just beaten Figueiredo and Moreno. Figueiredo, Kai France, and Amir Albazi's have been Brandon Moreno's kind of wins the last couple of years, and 2 of them are not even in the division anymore. Kai France is no longer a flyweight, and neither is Figueiredo, and Amir Albazi is just losing. So I just didn't see it from Brandon Moreno. I didn't see the improvements, because I just remember thinking, damn, everyone's kind of just like picking Brandon Moreno here, but Moreno just lost. Moreno just lost to Tatsuratura, who's now fighting for the belt, and he got finished in the second round. I was a bit like, not disappointed, but I was a bit like, fuck, I kind of wish Lonnie had chinned him. I really wanted Lachlan Kavanagh to get the win, or the finish, what it is. Staple performance, and he looked absolutely incredible in there. The speed off this guy, the shots placements, and we must give him credit here that, altitude, Lachlan is like a new mythical character, but he didn't gas, and that was a massive thing for me that he didn't gas. Because I was worried. I was kind of thinking like, especially when people say altitude kind of thing. But I don't know if altitude really makes that much of a difference, to be honest with you. But I rewatched the fight twice now. Just the low kick chopping that Lonnie did was quite surprising. And it was the best investment that you could make in those early rounds. I always think taking out low kicks is the best investment that you can make in the first round and the second round. It's going to score you points. And it's just going to neutralize their game, especially if they're grapplers. They're not really going to be able to get much power off that. If they're strikers, it's going to slow down their movement, and they're just going to be constantly thinking about their leg. So it was a perfect game plan from Lonnie, and he executed it perfectly. Now, Moreno was landing in a lot of the moments. First 2 rounds, they were close. They were close. The second round was a little bit more clear, but the first round was close. I even see someone gave it to Moreno. Some people were giving it to Moreno on Twitter. I wouldn't necessarily say you can give Moreno the first round, if I'm being honest with you. But Moreno was definitely landing. He definitely had his moments. Vintage Moreno, kind of like with the, kind of like looping overhand stuff like that. And when he's kind of in your face like this, he's moving like this. He throw like a jab and stuff like that. No real, the front kicks Lonnie was throwing in this fight as well. Lonnie Kavanagh, I have been saying this for years, is going to be a champion. He is going to be a champion. And mark my words now, next for Lonnie Kavanagh, it has to be Royval. I think Brandon Royval versus Lonnie Kavanagh is a fucking sick fight. I honestly would probably pick Royval in that fight. And I don't think that's an outrageous thing to say, because Moreno, as much as he looked kind of shit against Royval. Let's say it how it is. I know Royval just lost the cape and stuff like that, but if Royval gets in, Lonnie's face and stuff like that, we didn't really see Moreno grapple as much as well, which is kind of something I thought he could have used. He kind of tried to in the 4th and the 5th. I don't even necessarily say Moreno tried to do the grappling in the 4th and the 5th, because just stalling against the cage, it was kind of shit. But I think Royval's going to win there with a much more of a in-your-face approach. Lonnie was given a lot of room, to look good, whereas Royval is going to be in his face all the time. Moreno gave him time and space. Moreno gave him room. Moreno allowed him to look good in moments. And then when Moreno kind of fired back, it was a lot closer. But staple win from Lonnie Kavanagh. I'm so happy. That he's at the top of the division, because I truly believe he belongs there. Next for Moreno, I don't even know. Maybe Maynard Cape. Not Maynard Cape, sorry. I don't even know for Moreno, to be honest with you. Because maybe the loser of Tatsuo Tura versus Joshua Van, if it's Joshua Van, he could do something like that. But Brandon Moreno is now kind of out of the division. I don't think you do an Armero Albazi rematch so soon. I know it will take a year and a bit ago, but still. I don't think Brandon Moreno is in this division anymore. He's not one of the top guys. He wouldn't beat Cape. He wouldn't beat Van. He didn't beat Tatsuo Tura. He didn't beat Royval. He didn't beat Lonnie Kavanagh. He didn't beat Pantoja. He's kind of like slipping downwards now to like the 6th or 7th kind of gatekeeper into the top 5. And Lonnie took it. Lonnie Kavanagh took it with every ounce of his being. So, yeah, it was fucking sick to see Lonnie doing that. It was absolutely sick. Co-main event. I don't even know what to say. Did anybody ever think Chito was good, though? I have been saying this for fucking years, that Chito Vera is just not good. Okay? I've been saying this for absolute time. And David Martinez, I don't even think he's that good either. I don't even think you have to be that good, to be honest with you, to beat a Chito, especially in this stage of his career. You look back at his old fights, and I've just been saying this for years. You were losing to Frankie Edgar. You were losing to Dominic Cruz. You know what I mean? You beat a short notice Pedro Munoz and stuff like that. But you're losing to Frank Edgar towards the end of his career, and I think that was Dominic Cruz's last fight. It's not good. It's not good at all. And then you beat Pedro Munoz, you get destroyed by Corey Sandhagen, you get a gifted title shot against Sean O'Malley. And I don't think David Martinez is going very far in bantamweight, to be honest with you. I think like the Sandhagens would give him a world of problems. I think Umar would slice him up. I think Jan would break him in fucking half. I even think he'd lose to Peyton Talbot. And O'Malley would starch him. Not good. Not good. David Martinez does not look good. And for Chito Vera, man, it's not even entertaining anymore. I like Chito. Yeah, I don't mind Chito. I don't like the way Chito is so aggressive for no fucking reason. He just seems so angry. He reminds me of someone who's doing like a caffeine break. Stop drinking caffeine and just kind of gets to that stage where he's really pissed off and just, you know what I mean? If anyone says anything to him, he's gonna fucking flip. That's what kind of Chito reminds me of 24/7. But yeah, no, like, it's just Chito Vera was never good. He didn't even look good. Like, what's Chito's best move? Rob Font was fucking lighting his ass up, and I'm sick of pretending he wasn't. Rob Font was piecing Chito up, and I'm sick of pretending he wasn't. I'm sick of it. Chito had the bigger moments in that fight and stuff like that, but Rob Font was lighting his ass up for fun. But what, like, honestly, if you're a Chito fan, what's Chito's best move? Kicks? He doesn't have good boxing. He doesn't have power. Doesn't have range. No grappling. What is Chito Vera's best move? What are you looking at for, like, even this matchup and saying, you know, Chito's got that massive right hand, or Chito's got that high kick, and you're not saying any of that. Because Chito doesn't have any of that. He's so fucking basic. He's not even good basic, okay? And I really like Chito Vera. I actually think he's a bit of a dog. He's a complete fucking dog. But he has no skill set. I'm sorry. Would he fuck me up in a fight? Absolutely. But I'm saying from a UFC championship level caliber fighter, which Chito Vera has been because he was in a championship fight, it's not good. He's trash. Chito's trash, bro. He's trash. Okay, and we all know Chito's been poor for years, bro. Years. Real ones know that Corey was going to fucking slap him up. Real ones know. But that's Chito Vera done. That's Chito Vera done. And I wouldn't say I'm necessarily sad either. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm sad either, because it's not exactly a massive name in the sport. But the rest of the card, it was pretty decent. You know, Bobby Green, this is actually what I kind of want to talk about real quick. Bobby Green looked back to his best. Sharp striking, absolutely lit him up on the feet. I did not expect Bobby Green to win this fight. You know, Daniel Zahabla. I did not expect Bobby Green to win this fight. I thought Bobby Green was way past it. We've seen Bobby Green take so much damage in his career as well. And Zellhuber just looked terrible out there. But I do think that's because Bobby Green looked that good. Bobby Green's boxing is always something that shocks me when it's on. When Bobby Green is landing and stuff like that, and he's landing kind of the jab and the right hand simultaneously, he's one of the cleanest strikers that you can see. And I remember thinking that when he fought Jim Miller. I remember thinking, it was like, fuck, you know, Bobby Green's tasty on the feet, man. Like, Bobby Green can fucking land. He got in some extremely good scrambles in this fight. And, yeah, landed the takedowns as well. I thought Bobby Green looked absolutely sick in this fight. He looked absolutely sick, and getting the TKO as well, doing the Triple H when he won. It's good to see people like Bobby Green win. Okay, we all like seeing people like Bobby Green win. Bobby Green is a fucking G. And, yeah, but the rest of the card, I thought the actual card itself was good. It was a great card, actually. I really fucking enjoyed this card. I thought it was like a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. As we can see here, like, second round TKO. A few decisions, but the rest of the card, you know, pretty good. And we'll check out the prelims here. First round TKO, decision. First round TKO, decision. Submission, first round TKO. A lot of first round finishes on this card. Chris Moutinho. We kind of need to stop looking at Chris Moutinho as like an actual UFC fighter. We need to kind of leave that in the past. But all in all, you know, Imal Rodriguez as well. Santiago Luna picking up a nice win. It was a great card. It was a fucking great card. And as much as Brandon Moreno slipped up in the main event, it's for the better. This is for the better to have a star like Lonnie Kavanagh in the main event of these kind of fight nights. Now, I think him versus Royval is a huge fight, and it is a sick fight. I would love to see that in England, because I would go. Because, listen, you know, if you're an OG, I actually ask anybody in the comment section, if you're an OG fan of this channel, bring up the Brandon Royval lore. I have history with Brandon Royval, like actual history of Royval. If any of you know what it is, I've said it like maybe 2 or 3 times on this channel. If you're an actual fan and you actually know the Royval lore, let it down in the comments, because there isn't many people that know about the Royval lore. But Lonnie Kavanagh, as much as I don't necessarily think he's an incredible trash talker, he's got personality and things like that, I think his fight style is so entertaining. And for Moreno, like I said, he just didn't look good against Tatsuro. I know we got him in like a triangle, but apart from that, he did fuck all in that fight. Okay win against Armiro Bazzi. Looked boring against Royval. Thing about Moreno's fight style is he's much more of a counter puncher. That's kind of one thing I figured. He's much more of a counter. And when you're not engaging, Moreno just does that. He just does that the whole fight. He doesn't engage with you. Very rarely does he engage. He's much more of a counter puncher. Brandon Moreno has no problem being boring. Absolutely no problem. He will gladly stand there and let you do whatever you want, as long as he gets his opportunity to counter. And that's why I'm just like, you need to be in these guys' faces. Like, you could have had moments there of taking out Lonnie Kavanagh. Not taking him out, but you could have had way more success on the feet that could have landed, and could have landed you in a win here. But great performance from Lonnie Kavanagh. Too quick, too slick, it's way too fast for Moreno. And when he was landing the combinations, the low kicks were the biggest investment that you could have made in that early rounds. And I'm happy to see Lonnie Kavanagh and win, because I've been watching him for like 6-7 years now, I think. So it's just pretty fucking sick. It's pretty fucking sick to see someone like this get the W, boys. But let me know what you think about this card down below, and thanks for watching.